Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with Market Trader. My name is Ray, the Market Trader. And before we begin, we'll need to go through our obligatory risk disclosure here. So we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, just want to remind everyone that the content that's being published and distributed by the Market Trader is debated as general information only. None of the information provided or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, future, or fund. We all understand that the use of this information contained is to be used at your own risk, and the company, its partners, representatives, agents, employees, contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. We all understand that future trading does carry a fair amount of risk. An investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right. So now that we've gotten through the risk disclosure, hopefully that's visible. If I can get some confirmation on that, that would be awesome. Morning, Dirk. Good morning, Stumps. Okay, perfect. All right, so we're going to go ahead and turn now our attention over to the news here, guys, and get a sense for what the news is telling us. Okay, or what we should be aware of before we engage in the markets here. Okay, so looking at financial news today, we have world leaders at the UN General Assembly coming in together at 9 a.m. Eastern. We had Fed member Bowman speaking at 9 a.m. We have S&P Services PMI coming in at 9:45. That could have an impact on the market. Then we have a number of I guess speeches or whatnot here between 9:50 and all the way down to 12:35. We have Fed member Bostic. We have Fed member Powell speaking. Then we have a 2-year note yield reporting at 1 p.m. Eastern time, and then there's more speaking engagements for our president here. The last one, I guess, that could potentially impact the markets on us here is probably around 2:30 Eastern time. Okay, multilateral meeting. Okay, so I would say the biggest news here, the fact that we have world leaders meeting at the UN General Assembly. We also have the PMI reporting here at 9:45. I would say those are the two main ones that we should be concerned with, and then maybe to a minor level the 2-year note publishing. Okay, so now that we have a feel for the news here. The news, so we can kind of potentially navigate the news here. We're going to go ahead now and turn our attention over to the charts, okay, and take a look and see what context we can pull from the charts, okay. So we're going to go ahead and stop sharing, and we'll share our. Let's see, we can bring up our platform here, trading platform. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start with the gold, and then move our way down to the equity markets here. So here we are. Go ahead and share that. Okay, so hopefully that's visible to everyone here. Okay, so you can see that gold continues to be show strength in this market. With each open, we have some gaps that are being created between. Okay, so we seem to continue to be in a very strong trend here to the upside in this market. I'm just going to take a look here to see kind of the ADX here. ADX, we have our positive DI here, still well above our negative. Okay, and not the momentum indicator is really not showing any signs of weakness. Okay, so let's maybe if I can open up. There's my volume there. So again, you can see the volume bars. We have an excess, or I guess a majority of buying. Okay, so everything is above the so it was aggressive, I would say aggressive buying, right? More buy market orders than sell market orders that are taking place in this market at the moment. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour chart. Let's see what we can glean from the 4-hour chart. We'll be sure to turn on our visible range volume profile here to the right of us. I always like to see where our price is in relation to volume. Okay. And you can see that we've kind of come into some low volume nodes in this area. Okay. So price is not hanging out in any one particular area for very long before it continues its march. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off here for a moment. Turn this off as well. Okay. All right. So again, nothing on the 4-hour chart that's giving us any indication of any sort of reversal. Okay, in price. We are seeing maybe a little bit in the way of maybe a little bit of a slowdown here in the advance. But as you can see here, with each slowdown, it's only met with some additional buying. Okay. So market, a 4-hour chart again is not telling us anything different than what we were seeing. Again, we've got a little bit more excess here, more maybe sellers coming in here a little bit, could maybe potentially slowing down the advance of this market, but nonetheless, we remain in a very bullish trend in this market. Okay, as you can see on the series of candles that we have here on the chart. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute chart. Let's kind of evaluate how the markets were navigated this here. So let's open this up and we'll turn off the upper and lower band of the VWAP. Let's see if I can get my EMA here. Nine EMA, there it is. Okay, so you can see that we're above the 9, we're above the VWAP. Okay, so as long as price remains above, right, then obviously our view remains bullish. Okay, we need to continue to look for some bullish opportunities to the upside. Taking a look at the initial balance here across the various markets, we're going to go ahead and open up initial balance. It appears that London was quite bullish. Let's go ahead and move this over to start with Asia. Okay, look at the Asia market to start. Okay. Okay, so Asia, you can see at the tail end of Asia offered us a very nice opportunity to the upside here. Okay, we got kind of maybe a little bit more in the way of range kind of price action during Asia. Okay, and then as we got into London, we got a pretty good move here to the upside. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and take a look at this London. All right. So London, you can see a very nice break to the upside, kind of reaching our, I don't know, probably 300% extension of the initial balance range. Really nice extension, really nice opportunity with the break here of the initial balance range, right? Almost, yeah, I would probably more in the order of 400%. This is 200. Okay, this range here, yeah, probably somewhere between the 200 to 400% extension of the range. Okay, again, another nice opportunity here in the during the London session. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the fixed range volume profile. I guess kind of confirm what we all probably as suspect at this point. Let's go ahead and come back to the start of London. I'm not start of the session here back on Monday to the close here in the New York. Okay, right about here. All right, so you can see that we're well above value. Okay, yeah, in an hour and a half, basically, we got this move, right? An hour and a half, we got this move. So really nice move in the gold market during the London session. We have this area here. I would say that will continue. I would expect to be supportive here. Just the value area high from yesterday. From the U.S. session, okay, this area right here, and that's also the low end of the value range. Okay, has a little bit of a confluence here between the high end of value for the U.S. session, and that happened to be the low end of value. I guess low end of the initial balance range. So we came back, retested the highs of the value area and proceeded to head higher. Okay, so what to expect? Well, right now we're kind of at an interesting area. I would say that we are fairly extended here to the upside. It might be again, the fact that we are up against this area here, that we're still above the 90 EMA is obviously a positive sign. We're going to go ahead and open up the initial balance for the current session, okay, and see what it has for us here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use the day session here. Okay, so you can see that we're developing a rather narrow range in an otherwise upward kind of market. Now, if the market provides this, certainly the edge here of this this value range also is coinciding with VWAP, this area down below. If we get it right, that's well below the market at the moment. But if it somewhere around the 3,800 level would be a very nice opportunity to participate potentially in an upward move. Right now, you can see that we're getting some reaction. If I do a little bit of a retracement here on this current swing, right, you can see that we're getting a rather strong reaction off the 38, or let's see if I always draw this always wrong, opposite way. Let's do this again here, guys. Apologies. Okay, so if I take the low end of this up to this, you can see that we're reacting off the 38.2% retracement level already. So that is an indication that we are very much in a strong trend. So again, I would like to be a part of this to the bullish side. I guess I need to see some maybe a little bit more evidence that the market is able to make maybe a high here, and maybe participate as part of maybe a little bit of a retracement here. Okay, so right now I'm looking at the initial balance range. We'll have to wait and see how this initial balance range plays out. Like I said, we do have the PMI coming in at 945, which could impact the market here. So we'll need to wait and see how this initial balance range plays out and what kind of extension we get, right? Because we are, I would say, a bit extended to the upside. I would say my preference would be maybe if we got some sort of pullback, right? If we got a little bit of a pullback down to the VWAP, that would be a welcome sight for me, okay, to maybe offer me an opportunity to participate in this market. If we get some sort of break of the initial balance range and maybe a retest on the highs of the initial balance, then that could be another area where we could maybe manage our risk and participate in an upside move. Right now, I'm a little hesitant, I would say, given the March here. We're probably already at some ADR highs here. Okay, let's see. Where is the ADR high? The ADR high is at this level here. Let's see. Yeah, we've already exceeded the 80 average daily range for the day. Okay, with this area here, right? So again, there are some indications that maybe we've kind of exceeded we're kind of how we say, a little bit overextended, I would say, to the upside. But the fact that we've broken the ADR range here relatively early in this session could lead us to maybe a sustained move to the upside, right? So right now, I would say how much volume during London session? Well, this is not giving us the volume, but right, this is not overly, probably not an accurate figure. This is just giving us the delta of volume on the buy side and the sell side. So I would say relatively strong during London here. We got 3,000, almost 4,000 more buy orders than sell orders here in the market, okay, during the London session. So again, fair amount of interest here to the upside. I would say that it will be interesting to see how price behaves once we exceed the range, the initial balance range, to see maybe if it does offer us maybe an opportunity for maybe a sustained move to the upside. Right now, it does appear that we are rather bullish, okay, at the moment, okay? Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and turn this down here. Okay, so headed into the session, I would say that I'm looking for maybe some opportunities to the bullish side. I do understand that I feel like I am a little bit extended here to the upside. Price does not go so far away from the VWAP before it wants to come back and revisit. So yeah, it's possibly that we might be accumulating here for the next leg higher. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of use this kind of initial balance range as kind of a guide here, and then maybe offer me maybe some insight as to where they want to take this market. But yes, it does appear that maybe there is maybe a little bit of accumulation going on. I for one would love to see maybe a little bit of a pullback, maybe closer to this VWAP range, and maybe offer me an opportunity. But I cannot deny, or the fact that we are very much in a kind of bullish trend here, right? It's probably not the best channel I can draw here, but you can see that right now we're in a bearish channel, but we are overall structure wise still very much bullish. Okay, so headed into the session, I would say that we need to yeah, so this area right here would present a very nice situation here for an opportunity for an upside move. Okay, so that's kind of the area that I'm going to be focused on. We may not get it. Okay, we may not get it, and market may still strong, but I think this is kind of an area that I would focus in on, and then I'm going to let my channels to kind of maybe guide me on the timing of when that move might take place. But nonetheless, I think headed into the session, I think we need to look and continue to look, given on the higher time frame and even the lower time frame, we're seeing a good amount of strength in this market. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and take a look at the crude oil market. Looks like the crude oil market maybe has caught a little bit of yeah, but I do have a little bit of interest in buying Aslan, but probably not at current prices. Okay, I'd like to see maybe a little bit of a pullback. Okay, but I cannot deny that the market is still very much bullish, right? And looking at the higher time frames, you can see that the market continues to show a lot of strength to the upside. Okay, so here we are with the crude oil. Okay, so again, looks like we've made one, two, three, four bottoms here. Okay, each time we've reached the 62 level, that's been met with some buyers. Okay, now the question becomes are we going to we are consolidating, right? You can see that there's we can create a little bit of a consolidation pattern here, right? I don't know, this is kind of a descending wedge, right? So again, the path right now, I would have to say, is bearish, right? We continue to be in some sort of bearish kind of structure, but the bulls, right, have managed to kind of hold off any kind of the bleeding, so to speak. All right. So it's they managed to keep the market in some sort of range, right? But we do indeed remain in some sort of bearish structure. Okay. 62 does appear to be an area of interest, okay, in the area of interest here in the crude oil market. Okay, 62, you can see every time we've come down to below 62, it's been met with some buyers here. Okay, so and we are creating, cannot deny this, right? We are creating a little bit of a 3-bar reversal pattern. This candle here is still being developed, right? This is a daily candle, but assuming that it does close as we might expect, that could be the beginnings of maybe an upside move, okay, in this market. The extent of that move is yet to be determined, because we're still very much in some bear side structure. A move back to the upper end of this descending wedge would not be certainly out of the question. That would take us up to about 64, 63.76, okay, from the current levels, which is about 80 ticks, okay. So again, market, I would say on the daily, showing maybe some signs of some bullish, but I would say overall is probably bearish to neutral. Okay. Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart again, we're going to turn off some of our indicators here. Let's see, VWAP. It's not what I wanted to turn off. Let's see if I can turn off. Initial balance here for a moment. Okay, so looking at this, turn off some of our drawings. I'd like to look at it as cluttered. So I would say, rather significant here, guys. So we did break. You can see on the 4-hour chart, right? We've broken some structure here to the upside. We managed to close a 4-hour candle. Okay, a 4-hour candle above this bearish channel. That's significant. Now price is above our VWAP and developing another candle to the bullish side. Now, are we opening ourselves up? Again, given the fact that we've been in some sort of range that we have the potential of maybe sellers kind of potentially stepping in this market here at these levels. Certainly, okay. There's always a possibility, and I would say the closer we get up to the 64 level, I would say the higher the likelihood of that potentially taking place. Okay, so market on the 4-hour is starting to show us some signs and maybe some breaking some structure here to the upside. We've broken some structure here and here. Okay, indicating that maybe we are maybe in the upswing of our range. Okay, I still feel like we are in some sort of range, but we might be in the upward leg of that swing. Okay, because 64 does appear to be, again, another level of some resistance in crude oil. All right, let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. Let's see what the market was able to do with this during the Asia and London sessions here. Okay, so again, you can see that we seem to have a fair number of buyers that have kind of stepped into this market. I guess they found that 62 was relatively inexpensive. Okay, so it created a little bit of a demand area here, right around the 62 level, right? You can see right here, right? We had a swing higher. We came back, right, to continue this move to the downside, only to find some buyers. Now we seem to be in a very strong move here to the upside. So the demand area that I'm speaking of is this area down below. Okay, this is the demand zone that I'm referring to, right around the 61.90 level. Okay. That is the price has demonstrated that there isn't this we made a higher low here, right? So we got a higher low that was established in this market. Now we have a higher high. So again, we're starting to see maybe some development of structure here to the upside in the crude oil. Okay. Now I'm not overly convinced 100%, right? I do see that there are some areas above us that I still need to get above. But we are, at least on the short term, appearing to be a little bit more bullish than we have been in some time. Okay, let's take a look. Let's see. Let's start off with a fixed range volume profile, see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. I suspect we know the answer to that question, but we'll confirm nonetheless. Will offer us maybe a location where we maybe potentially participate in an area. Okay, so again, this area of a high end of value here, right? Again, it's offering us maybe a location, right, where maybe we could potentially see a reversal in price. So this 62.40 level, 62.45 would be a relatively nice area for price to come back to and offer us maybe a location for a further opportunity to the upside. I do see that we are a bit extended here to the upside, so I'm kind of a little bit cautious here to participate in the highs of the highs. But if I do get a pullback, maybe to the 9 EMA, maybe as low as the VWAP, these two could provide me a location maybe for an upside move. Okay, I do have to kind of temper my expectation here because I know on the higher time frame, that we've been in some sort of range kind of market, right? So while I am seeing on the short term that maybe we are moving into some sort of trend, on the higher time frame, I understand that we are in some sort of range as well, right? So I have to temper my expectations on how far the market can move. But given what I'm seeing right now, coming back up to the 64 level does not seem out of the realm of possibilities here. Okay. All right, so let's take a peek at the initial balance and let's see what the Asia and London were able to do with this market. We are in the initial balance range for the day session. Let's take a look at Asia. Looks like Asia was able to take this market higher. Actually, did not happen until the London session, but Asia took crude oil lower. Right, that's kind of what I was expecting with this earlier move. Right. is that, kind of a little bit of retracement and maybe a continuation move, but that was interrupted, right? That was interrupted. So we got a nice 200% extension of the initial balance range from the Asia session. We got to about the 200%, and then we started to show signs, right in an area where we would expect it, right? The buyers that stepped into this market in this area stepped in again around 61.90, right? So we had some buyers step in. Asia pulled it back down. They collected some more, and now we're in what looks like a sustained move here to the upside. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the London session. I suspect that they've broken up to the upside as well here. So looking at London, is that London? Yes, London looks like again another nice extension, okay, to the upside in this market, right? 1, 2, 3. We established the range. We get a nice bullish candle to exceed the range, and we've been up ever since. Okay. Now, obviously, as we come into some areas, I think I would be interested to see, maybe there might be some areas here that we could maybe potentially fade this. Okay. But the fact that, we've been in this strong move here, 64 level does look like maybe a level that is maybe destined to reach at some point. Okay. Yes. Nice break of channel, nice break of the initial balance to the upside. Let's take a peek here at the regular day session here. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up here. Yeah. London was even better. London, a lot of longs in this market during London. Okay. So again, would not rule out the possibility of maybe another extension here. The extension would take us up to 63.40, and I look at the left here and I see some resistance at 63.40. But yes, we are coming into an area where we could see some sellers here around 64. So for me, I'm going to wait and see as long as price remains above my 90 MA and above my VWAP, then I have no choice but to look maybe for some opportunities to the bullish side, right? So I'm going to wait for the initial balance range to establish. You can see that price is well above both our 90 MA as well as our VWAP. Okay, so indicating that there's a fair amount of strength here to the upside. What I'd like to have is maybe an area where I can help me manage my risk, right? I'd like to see, price maybe exceed the range and then offer me an opportunity maybe at the high end of the initial balance range for an opportunity for a move back maybe up to 64. Okay. Right now we're hovering around 63. I would say that that's relatively important. It's a psychological level as well. We've been at 63.20 before and have seen some evidence of sellers here, right? So the more I kind of extend, you can see how much of a range that we've been in this market, right? Really nothing other than some range price action that we've been of late, right? But if I kind of focus in on the most recent swing, the volume profile will adjust here, I think, and you can see that we are building up some interest, some volume here at the upper end of the market. As long as I would say we stay above, say 62.80, I would say any sort of pullback down to the 62.80 level could offer us maybe an opportunity to participate in this market to the upside. I was trying to see if I can actually draw a channel here down to that 62.80 level. It doesn't seem like it wants to let me do this. Okay. So again, around 62.80 is kind of what I'm looking at here. So I'm going to be watching this and see if it does offer me maybe an opportunity for maybe a bullish trade. I'd like to see price maybe come back down to the 62.80, 62.90 level, ideally, and then give me a nice solid break with some volume to the upside. Okay, I look at the ADX. We're seeing a little bit of softness on the positive, but the momentum indicator is still indicating that we are still very much in a strong trend. Okay, in this market, looking at the volume delta bars, I'm trying to see. So again, volume delta. Again, we have some candles. We have some sellers maybe have kind of stepped into this market here a little bit. But I don't mind it because so much, right? Because it could offer me a location where I can maybe participate in this market, because I do feel like we're a bit maybe extended here to the upside at the moment in this market. I'd like to see maybe a little bit of a pullback. Again, I'm going to be using this kind of channel here maybe to serve as a guide for when I might want to participate. But nonetheless, I am seeing, at least on the daily level, I mean, at least on this time frame, that the market does appear to be somewhat bullish. But I do understand on the higher time frame that we've been in some sort of range of late. Okay. All right. So that's kind of what I have for the crude oil market. So I'm gonna wear my marketing hat, my virtual marketing hat here, guys, and encourage you guys to hit the likes and the subscribes. If you're not already a subscriber, hit the subscribe button. If you haven't made a comment in the recent past on how this analysis is supporting your efforts here in analyzing the markets, then I would do that as well. There's also super chat that if you want to maybe kick a few nickels over my way, that's also available as well. Okay. But more importantly, guys, I'd like to see these thumbs come up across the board. We have about 15 participants currently in the session. I'd like to see that as close to 15 as I can. Okay. Thank you, Michael. I'm not exactly done. Before I get into the equity markets, I usually try to make a little bit of a plug for myself, encouraging folks to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if they're not already a subscriber. Okay. All right. So that generated a couple of new likes. So we'll use that as a indication that they want to see more. So we'll go ahead and move on to the equity markets. The equity markets have been in some sort of range. I don't know if maybe there is some news that they're waiting for here, but let's take a look at the daily chart. Okay. So again, we're seeing wicks on both ends of the candle. Okay. In a market that seems quite strong. Okay. Yeah. Like up, right, Simon? All right. So Powell speaks at 24. Okay. All right. So that's probably could shake up the markets. And maybe that's kind of why maybe the market is kind of stalling here a little bit, maybe in range, right? So in any case, guys, looking at the daily chart again, still very much in some sort of bullish trend in this market. I don't think there's anything here that indicates to me that there's any sort of reversal in sight. The fact we continue to make new highs. Right. We had a nice series of bullish candles here over the last 3 days of trading. We are above some of the areas that we care about. We have the 9 EMA. And again, I keep losing. Maybe I'm picking different charts here, but okay. So we have the ADX showing us that this is a good amount of strength here to the upside. Our momentum is to all indications right now outside of this maybe volume is not really all that interesting here. The volume is not really supportive of this price. I mean, it's not supporting the current price direction at the moment. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour chart here, guys, and let's see what the 4-hour is telling us that may be a little bit different than what we've already seen. So we're going to go ahead and reduce this down. We're going to go ahead and turn off my initial balance range here for a moment and take a look and see what the 4-hour chart is telling us. Again, you can see that we're in a very, I guess, healthy market here to the upside. Kind of continue to staircase higher. Price is above our 9 EMA. I would suspect it's above our, 50, 200, and any other moving averages that we can come up with. Let's see. Maybe pull up a ribbon here if there's not too much effort here. So moving average ribbon. Okay. So again, above all our levels here, right? Every moving average that we can come up with, you name it, we're above it. Okay. Outside of maybe possibly the VWAP, right? Everything else, price is above. Okay. How far away from VWAP? We'll take a look at this. We'll take a look at this on the 30-minute chart. It's probably going to be looking a little bit better. Looking at this on the VWAP, we're right on top of VWAP at the moment. Okay. So right now, VWAP is not really offering us much in the way of indication, right? We're seeing a lot of overlapping price action in this market. Okay. So let's get rid of this. Okay. And let's get rid of some of this moving averages here for a moment. Okay. So you can see that there's a fair amount of volume that's being built up here. Okay. So is that indicating that there's interest in maybe, in further upside in this market? It's hard to say. We had a very nice move. Okay. Monday, right? Today might be a day of digestion, right? after a big meal, right? After a big meal, what happens, right? We rest, right? This might be a resting day today, right? Had a nice steak dinner, okay, or whatever favorite dish you might want to come up with, okay. And now we seem to be in some sort of range, okay. Yes, absolutely, right. Yeah, and Nasdaq. Well, that stands to reason, right? The equities are definitely more active during the U.S. session. Gold and crude oil, I guess, would trade a little bit more 24 hours. But what, and nonetheless, right? We've had some moves in the overnight, right? In the during Asia and London in this market. But in any case, we'll go ahead and take a look at the fixed range volume profile from yesterday. And it should not be any surprise if we were to say that it's above. Okay. Oh, actually, we're in range. Let's see. This is just want to make sure I got this right. Yeah, looks like we're in range. Okay. So we're building up a fair amount of volume here. Okay, at the upper end of the range. We're inside the range from yesterday. I guess the idea is that while we remain in range, we probably want to stand on the sidelines, right? Yes, chop suey time. Again, so again, we probably want to wait until some sort of direction is established in this market before we decide to participate. Right now, again, given the structure that we're in on the daily and the 4 hour, the expectation is obviously that it would continue higher. Okay, we're right now on top of our VWAP, and VWAP and the 9 EMA probably not giving us a good indication of which direction they're planning to take in this market. VWAP is flat, 9 EMA is flat, right? So again, we're kind of barcoding here at the moment, so really not offering us much in the way of the direction. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at our initial balance here and see if I can glean some insights off of that. I'm just going to see if I can. Okay, so we had this Asia. That's the regular trading hours. Let's see, Asia. It's probably going to be rangy, right? Yeah. So really didn't offer us much in the way of extension, and looks like the same is true in London. Really didn't offer us much in the way of extension, right? So not really any sort of aggressive buying or selling going on at this point. Again, like I said, I think there's a little bit of digestion that's taking place in this market, right? We are in some sort of range. So I would say that until we pick some sort of direction, either up or down, would not surprise me at all if we came down and maybe filled in some of this area here, a volume. Okay, would not be a surprise at all if we came down and kind of added some volume to this area to kind of maybe help fill out some of this volume profile that we see here on the right. Okay, so I hesitate to say short because I know that the market has been quite strong, but it would not surprise me if we maybe spent some time up at the upper levels here throughout the session, maybe around maybe as low as 24,940 up to this 25,000 level. The 25,000 level obviously is an area of some of importance here. Okay, so we'll have to see how this kind of plays out, but headed into the session, I would say that it's probably more range than anything. I'm probably a little bit neutral here. I need to see some more evidence here as to what direction they want to take it. Obviously, we've been in some uptrends here, but overnight, it's really not giving me any indication in which direction. Okay. Nasdaq sell, gold buy, books good. Looks good. Yeah. Yeah, I would say, Mark, that's probably a reasonable, right? Sell some equities, although, and I would say that it would be probably the path forward. Okay. May pull back to fill in the low volume nodes, the imbalances on that green continuation candle on the left before maybe. Yeah. I feel like today is probably going to be more of a range day. I'm super hesitant to participate in this market to the upside, given where we've come. Okay, as much as I'd like to participate to the upside, and maybe they take it up, maybe they take it higher, right? The more uncomfortable I feel with the upside move, and that's exactly what they're going to do, right? So, but in any case, for my capital, I'd like to see if I can maybe wait for maybe a little bit of a pullback have them fill in these areas, these low volume nodes, and see if I can find maybe a location there to participate. I'm really not super inclined to participate in these highs. Okay. All right. So heading into the session, I would say that again, I'm going to remain neutral. I'm going to call the market more neutral. Certainly, I think there's maybe an opportunity maybe for a bearish trade, but we need to be we need to be careful, right? Because this move that was generated was not generated by small players here. Okay, so any bearish trade has to be met with some how we say, right? Some what's the word? Caution. Okay, any bearish trade that we take has to be met with some caution. Okay, because this is not small strength. Okay, this move here is not small, right? So, but do I see the market kind of maybe retracing here a bit? Yes. Filling out these low volume nodes? Yes. But then at that point, maybe this area down below here, right around the low end of value, might not be a bad area, 24,520. I don't think we'll get down to that level, to be honest with you. I think we'll probably have buyers step in a little bit earlier than that. But that would be kind of the general area that I would be looking for. Okay. If the market heads higher, well, I'll shake its hand and wish them all the best. But it's not going to be with my capital, right? Right. Mind your sizing and be nimble. Yes, Aslan. Yes, I think if you're going short, you need to be nimble. Okay. But I think the prudent thing here is to be patient. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the ES here. ES giving us the same kind of look and feel here. Market shows a lot of strength, right, to the upside, right? Market continues to show some strength. We're probably overdue, right, for a little bit of a pullback in this market, to be honest with you. We're well above our 9 EMA. We are what appears to be a little bit extended here to the upside. We're above the value range. Again, we are telling us that we are in a trend. Surprise, surprise. Okay. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart. Okay. 4-hour chart right now, we seem to be somewhat barcoding here. Okay. I'm going to turn off the initial balance, kind of barcoding here at the moment. Maybe not so much barcoding as we are kind of consolidating. Again, price remains above our initial balance. I mean, above our 9 EMA, right? So kind of giving us, I'm going to go ahead and open up the ribbon. The ribbon is probably going to give us every indication that the market is higher, right? We're at all-time highs here. Do I want to buy necessarily all-time highs? Or would I rather have the market maybe come back to a known level of maybe prior resistance or support and maybe use that as my anchor to support a trade? That's kind of my school of thought, right? I'd like to see some sort of pullback that would allow me to kind of enter the market where I can actually manage my risk. Taking the long here, I'm not really managing I have to risk quite a bit here to kind of really support a trade, right? I'd like price to kind of maybe chew into some of this and then participate. Yes, we have PMI coming in here at 945. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the 30-minute. Okay, again, 30-minute, I think the same kind of story that we were seeing in the NASDAQ is also true. Okay, again, we have these kind of areas down below here. It would not surprise me in the least if price were to come back down, maybe ideally would come back down to some of these areas down below. I'm going to go ahead and mark this area off as maybe an area that I would be interested in, maybe looking at or participating. Okay, this area is kind of an untouched area here, right around the 67.34 level. Okay, that would be again a kind of a discount wholesale buy, right? Right now, if anything, I'm probably looking lower. Okay, range to lower. Okay, but we need to be nimble, right? This could be a fast move down to this level. And this area could find some buyers just that drove price higher here. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at the fixed range volume profile. I think we know what the answer is to this as well. Okay. So we're going to start off with the US here. Start of the US yesterday, drag that across to the close here. Okay. In range. right now. We're kind of here in range. I'm not gonna trouble you with the initial balance ranges across Asia, London. I think you understand that Asia or London was not able to do much of anything with this market. Okay, it's consolidating, it's ranging, it's digesting whatever the most recent move. Okay, so again, similar to the Nasdaq, I would say that I have kind of a similar opinion here. That I'm kind of coming in at relatively neutral to maybe bearish, and maybe looking for some opportunities. No worries, Simon. Thank you. Okay, looking for some opportunities to the buy side, but I need to see a little bit of the market retrace, maybe back to some sort of known level where I can manage my risk. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the Dow and see if the Dow is telling us anything different. YM. Okay, all right. So again, looking at the daily chart. Okay, looking at the daily chart, the Dow is even looking maybe a little bit stronger than some of the other markets. Okay, so we have again a steady stream of green to the upside. Okay, well above our 90. All the EMAs are MAs that we care about. So daily chart quite bullish. 4-hour chart staircasing. Okay, staircasing to the bullish side. Okay, so you can see we continue to make higher highs and higher lows. Now, not seeing the same kind of conviction maybe that we've been seeing of late. Kind of looking at we see that we are seeing a little bit more overlapping kind of DI positives and DI negatives here. Not a whole lot of strength in this move. Honestly, momentum is not all that high. And that's also indicative of volume. Really no conviction in either direction here at the moment. Okay, at least not aggressive. All right, let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. Okay, 30-minute chart. Again, we're up at the highs here. Okay, again, continue to grind higher, continuing to make higher highs and higher lows. Seeing a little bit of loss of momentum here on the positive indicator here on the ADX, as well as momentum overall. Okay, in this market. Okay, which stands to reason. Let's take a quick look here at the fixed range volume profile for yesterday's session. Let's take a look at that, drag that across here. Okay, and you can see just like the other equity markets, we seem to be in some sort of range in this market. All right, again, maybe we'll take a peek here. I am seeing maybe a little bit of different kind of look and feel with respect to initial balance range here. Daily CS are getting shorter too. Okay, let's take a look at initial balance here across all these markets. Let's start off with Asia, okay, and see what Asia was able to do with this market. Asia was able to actually extend. Okay, so maybe a little bit more strength in the Dow than maybe some of these other markets. So Asia was able to extend to the 100% and pretty close to the 200% before it reversed. Okay. And then we came back to this initial balance range and we found some more, we found some more buyers. London, I would suspect, is also to the upside. Okay. So London above initial balance high. Okay. Kind of giving us an indication that there is some interest here for price to remain higher here. So of the three markets, we are a little bit to the upside here in the Dow. Okay. All right. Let's go across all these markets. Let's take one final pass before the market opens here. So looking at the gold here, I'm going to go ahead and open up the regular session here. Gold seems to be kind of consolidating here at the highs. We'll open up the initial balance range. So again, I think there's probably waiting for this PMI report to come out here at 9:45. So I'm going to continue to track this channel that I have drawn here. See what kind of a break of the range do I receive. I do feel like we are maybe a little bit extended here to the upside. We're not necessarily reacting off the 9 EMA the way I would expect it to react. But nonetheless, the market remains bullish. Okay. Crude oil also showing some signs of bullish price action. It'll be interesting. But again, this has been a market that's been in some sort of range. We're starting to see some of the higher time frames cross over, right? The 100, the 50, the 9 are starting to cross over some of these levels. This is, I believe, is the 200 MA, right? So we're starting to get above the 200 MA, which could potentially drive us to maybe potentially higher prices, or could be a spot for prices to fail. I'm going to let the initial balance range kind of tell me or dictate to me which one is going to be. But we are starting to see some of these moving averages and these ribbons give us an indication that maybe the tide is starting to turn. I don't know. I don't want to count the chickens before they're hatched here. Okay. All right. And then the Nasdaq across, I would say kind of ranging. I would say ranging to the possibility of maybe a little bit of a retracement down is probably would be my view of this. So we could see maybe a down move before we get an up move in this market. Market has been relatively strong, but right now it is kind of ranging. Seems like it needs another catalyst of some sort in order to participate or in order to drive price in any direction. Market's still bullish. Okay, there's nothing here that indicates other than the fact that we are ranging. Market is still bullish. So if we do take bear trades, they have to be nimble. I would say this level here around 24,900 is going to be a level that I'm going to watch. This level has not been tested. It should get retested, and that could offer us maybe a nice opportunity to the upside. Looking at the ES, I think we have a similar level here. I'm just going to go ahead and call out here right around this 67.36, 67.32 level is offering a similar area where I would be interested maybe in participating in some sort of long trade. In the meantime, I expect maybe the market to remain in range or maybe slightly bearish. Okay. All right. And then the last market actually showing the most strength is the Dow. We continue to grind higher in this market, right? So the Dow seems to be leading the charge to some degree to the upside. Okay. We continue to make higher highs and higher lows. We still haven't broken up above the highs of the market here, but the Dow is showing a little bit more strength maybe than some of these other markets. Okay. Just realized Tesla doesn't have scheduled news events, gold and crude, except for breaking news events. Okay. Asia, London doesn't have scheduled news affecting gold and crude, except for breaking news. Okay. Fair enough. All right, guys. Well, I think that's pretty much what I have for you today. I would say that relatively bullish on the gold, crude oil. I would say that right now showing some bullish price action, but up against a level that could cause the market to reverse. Okay, and yeah, hit the likes, hit the subscribes. How did you learn to sit on your hands? That's my opportunity of growth. It took some time, Mark. It took some time. Thank you, Dirk. Yeah, it took some time. It wasn't something that I learned overnight. Okay. It's being burned at the kettle multiple times and multiple scars on my hands. And I said, you know what? I'm better served in waiting for my opportunities to come to my area before I participate. So a lot of scars, Mark. Okay. A lot of scars. All right. You're welcome. You're welcome, Mark. All right, guys. Well, that's it for me. Yes, I did. Thank you so much. Thank you, Aslan. Yes. Again, guys, trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have an excellent day trading, guys. And we'll talk again tomorrow if I don't see you in group coaching later this afternoon. Okay. Likewise, Mark, you have a blessed week.